welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Happy Hump Day, everyone, and welcome back to another midweek edition of Muscle in the Morning, where we're starting off today's show with an update on the Pro League schedule. And in case you haven't heard, last weekend there was a press release from the NPC and Pro League officials here in Florida, where they announced that the 2020 Orlando Europa Championships was officially being postponed until next season. Obviously, this is a huge disappointment for the athletes and the vendors who put on an awesome show at this event every year. But it's also a huge loss for the fans. Little by little, we're starting to see premier events on the calendar scratched off because of logistical problems, which is really tough for a small market economy industry like bodybuilding. That being said, things do seem like they're starting to get better. And if you're following the news reports, if the arrow keeps trending upward, I think there's still a chance we can get things back up and running again by the end of the year. There's a lot of wisdom in the old saying, walk softly and carry a big stick. And for the most part, that quote does pretty nicely sum up the way Noel Adame tackled the 212 division over the last 2 years. During last year's rookie campaign, Noel caught a lot of people by surprise with his win at the Indy Pro. And from what I've heard, he and his team believe they're poised to have a strong start to their 2020 campaign. Nowell's right there in the middle of the pack with a lot of other athletes in the 212 division who are all fighting to make their way up to the upper tier of the division. And depending on how these next few months play out, he could be a potential top finisher come September's Olympia time. On the outside, there are a lot of people who see bodybuilders as big, muscular people who don't have any true athleticism to speak of. And for the most part, they're right when it comes to the guys in the men's open and 212 division. But just like anything else, there are always exceptions to the rules, especially when you look at a guy like Mikhail Volinkin. A few days ago, the second-year pro released a few videos on Instagram doing all sorts of flips and kicks and crazy splits that completely blew my mind. For a guy that's easily 260 pounds to have a sort of explosiveness that he does is really impressive. And the fact that he's also pretty talented from a bodybuilding standpoint makes this even more of an anomaly. You just don't see too many guys this size who can move like this. So if he can figure out a way to incorporate some of that wow factor into some of his routines on stage, this guy could turn into must-see TV every time he competes. Some things in life are cut and dry, all about business, but there are other things in life that aren't so easy to square up, and those are the things that we tend to take, well, personally. And for Shawn Rhoden, who was forced to vacate his Olympia title and take more than a year away from the stage, the 2020 Olympia is personal. In fact, Shawn made how he feels crystal clear during a recent conversation with Chris Aceto, where he said, the 2020 Olympia is personal for me, and the world will be shocked to see my best. With everything that he's been through over the last year or so, how can you blame Shawn Rhoden for feeling, well, disrespected? He might be the first Olympia champ in history who never had the opportunity to defend his title. And even though he's been gracious about it, I'm sure it doesn't sit well with him. The guy's mad, and he's hungry. So when he says he's about to shock the world, I don't have any doubt in my mind that he'll show up and do just that. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.